Welcome to Mental Fitness, the Gateway to Success podcast, providing business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs with the 3 INs: insights, inspirations, and intentional actions. Delivered through monologues and dialogues, we address topics like leadership, productivity, time management, work-life balance, and challenges like stress, conflict, mental health, and much more. Please do not hold back from suggesting specific topics and guests you would like on this podcast.
Greetings and welcome to this episode. This is kind of a bit of a special episode in the sense that it's the last episode, at least in one way, and it's also Christmas coming up, so I would like to share some little tricks and hints that I've learned over the years that might be useful for you around this time. So when I started this podcast half a year ago, I committed to do it for half a year, 26 episodes, and then decide whether I was going to continue or not. This is episode 26. So in some ways, there's a little bit of a celebration. It's a little bit too early in the day to pop the champagne, so we'll have to do it with water. But I will be heading down to the local world-famous pizza barn tonight and celebrate there with our son, who is here visiting from Canada, which is very exciting. So yes, a couple of weeks ago, or probably even a week and a bit ago, I was like, yep, I'm gonna fulfill my promise, do half a year of this, and then I'm gonna quit and stop this podcast. It has been an incredible learning experience. I'm really glad I did it. Have had some fantastic guests on board, and it has been a worthwhile experience. However, things has changed a little bit in the last week for a few reasons. One of them, like a number of things happened within a period of just 3 or 4 days that made me question that, hey, actually, should I give it another half year? So that has been sitting there. And then a couple of days ago, I got an email from Spotify, which is my main platform where this goes up. And they look after Spotify and Apple Podcast with some stats from just to celebrate the year. And of course, I know they're doing that to encourage me to carry on, of course. However, I don't particularly think that they're putting out false stats. I'm sure that the basic of it are accurate. And I was quite blown away by how good those stats actually are. And where I'm sitting as a percentage of new podcasts this year, I'm right up there in the top. And I'm not, this podcast is. And a lot of other stats around frequency and a number of viewers and comments and on and on. And all of those are actually really good. And that does not include YouTube, so probably 50% of all views of this podcast has been on Spotify and the other 50% on YouTube. So these stats are not even including that. So we add that in, it's actually looking pretty good. And then I got another email from them yesterday, and I will share that with you in my newsletter. And I can pop the link into it in the descriptions as well. And you can watch for yourself that they're giving me an award. Yeah, I know it's kind of ridiculous and hilarious and all of that. However, it's always nice to get an award, and the award was for a top performer in terms of consistency. So having put this out every single week, and I have managed to have a guest on every second week, which is what I said I would do until last week. I had 2 people lined up for guests, including one for today. But both of those have fallen through. They will still come through, but it won't happen till next year. So that's why you've had me both last week and this week with no guests. So my apology for that. So at this moment in time, like at 3 days ago, I was like, well, maybe I should carry on. I will think about that. I'll pause it for Christmas and the holidays, and then I'll rethink it. But that has changed as well. So at this moment in time, I will carry on. I will make that commitment to you here. I will carry on next year, given where things are at, and given another 6 months, another 26 episode at least. At this moment in time, I may change the frequency, I may not, but at the moment, once a week, it's a lot of work, and I'm happy to commit to that. As long as I can provide value, that's what I'm here for. Value around personal growth, value for business people, business leaders, um, and again, sticking to the topic as much as I can around mental fitness, because no, pretty much everything fits in under that, including meditation that we've looked at over the last few episodes. Um, so with that, I want to thank you. Like if this is the first podcast of mine that you're watching, thank you and welcome. If you are watching this and you've watched some of the other ones, thank you for that. Thank you for the engagement. Thank you for bumping the stats up. So I get some good news from Spotify that have now encouraged me to carry on. So thank you. Without you being here doing that, this podcast would not carry on next year. Um, Enough of that. Let's talk a little bit about mental fitness and Christmas. So my experience over the years, and it has progressively got worse, almost pretty much year by year, is the rolling eyes I get around Christmas and the stress levels that comes with that. And without going into all the different details, why people get more stressed around this time, they're pretty common though. It's that extra pressure, extra financial pressure, extra time pressure, particularly for business leaders. Everybody wants their services done and completed by the end of the year. You might have things that you have to, in the business, have to complete it that you procrastinated on during the year, and now is compounding, and now it just has to be done for whatever reason. So a lot of the stress that we create, or that I see people create around Christmas, is self-inflicted. Um, we can still be busy, we can still have lots to do and have more things that we can manage to do in our 24 hours a day, but we can still do that without the stress. And that's where mental fitness comes in. The more mentally fit we are, the better we are at dealing with pressure in a positive way. So that's the key to mental fitness. It's not just the ability to deal with the pressure, but it's dealing with it in a positive way, where we can still smile, we can still wave to people and say Merry Christmas if that's our thing or not. But we can do it without adding the frowns and the anger, the frustration, the getting upset with the family and the children and with customers and with colleagues or staff. And that's what mental fitness is about. So right now, if you are in that and feeling that pressure, starting building your mental fitness now and starting learning how to meditate, for example, is the wrong time. That is just adding more into it. So if you haven't got that sorted by now, then right now, the way through it is by using not mental fitness itself, but using practices that allows you to move through stressful times in a more easeful way. If you can't move it right into a joyful way, then at least into a more easeful way, where there's less tension, less stress, less mistakes, and less things that you need to clean up later or after Christmas. So there's a little practice that I have been using for many years now, and I will share it with you. And I'm not doing this specifically to be an asshole and to piss people off. I'm doing it as partly a research for me to gauge where people are at. And I'm also actually using it to support people, however awful you might think it is. So from around the 1st of January up till around 22nd or so of December, I will, I have one sentence that I will often say to people whenever I feel that it's right to say that. And that is, if it's on the 1st of January, I will say, only 11 and a half months to Christmas, or only 49 weeks to Christmas. And, in July, it's like only 5 months to Christmas, or only 20 weeks. And in December, it might be only 17 days to Christmas. And why, from a research point of view, my uh, the statistics from that is that 95 plus percent of people will react in a negative way, no matter when in the year I do it. Like whether it's in January, March, July, September, the reaction in general is the same. It is, "Oh, no, don't say that." Or people are rolling and saying, gee. It's very few people, like less than 5 in 100, that will go, "That's cool, eh? Oh yeah, look forward to it." Hmm. What does that tell us? What does it tell me? What does it tell you? It tells us that the majority of people appear to have negative beliefs and experiences with Christmas, not necessarily Christmas itself or Christmas Day, present, food, alcohol, partying, but everything that comes with it, which a lot of that is that stress up front. And then for many people, there is a financial stress that comes with it. And then getting those credit card bills paid all the way into February, and the stress that comes with that. So, with that in mind, what I want to share with you, because what we have managed as a family to do right from the children were little, which is like nearly 30 years ago, till now, is to really consciously, as a family, initially just my wife and I, get really, really clear on what is Christmas about for us. Yeah. And again, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or not. You can celebrate Christmas without being that. You can celebrate Christmas and being a Christian. It isn't generally a celebration time, or a potential for celebration, potential for joy, potential for community and being together. So we have always emphasized that with our children from the very beginning, whenever they could understand that this is a celebration time. And we have always, particularly at times when we were really, really short on money, really emphasizing it's not about presents. It's not about, we're still giving each other presents, but we were doing that at the super cheap and finding ways of getting a huge amount of joy out of that for both us and the children. And now that they're adults, we do it differently, but it's still in the same spirit of joy and celebration and coming together. And if you are not celebrating Christmas at all, I totally understand and totally accept that. And then maybe what I'm sharing right now has no value to you. However, the tools around managing stress when the level is up is the same, no matter what time of year it is, no matter what the situation is. It's just that unfortunately, Christmas seems to be ramping it up. And personally, I find that really sad, because for me, that is not what Christmas is about. And the good thing about Christmas is that it's in the calendar. At the 1st of January, when you pick out your new calendar for the year, Christmas is already there. You know what day is coming. It's not a surprise. So we particularly want to coach business people, like, how do you prepare for Christmas in January, in February, and so on, so that when you get there, there is no stress and you can cruise through. So that's the ideal scenario. If you are right now in a place where you're not cruising through, you're feeling the stress, then the one of the key ways to deal with this, if you're not already a practiced meditator and you can just step into meditation routines or practices to help you stay more calm, more focused, more at ease, then, as I said, now is not a good time to start learning meditation. If you haven't learned it yet and you want to learn it, get in touch with me for the new year and I will help you get set up for next Christmas. So for now, the one of the best tools I can give you to manage intense situations is the pause. I also call it meditation snacking. It's also called positive intelligence reps or PQ reps. We can give it all kinds of different names. But the key number one for no matter which one you're using is that you have got to be able to catch yourself in the middle of it and go, I can feel the tightness. I can feel the tension. I can feel the stress building. I can feel getting a little bit agitated or a lot agitated. I can feel that the sleeps are not quite happening the way I want to. I need another glass of wine to get to sleep or whatever it may be. Step number one, catch it. And if you have watched this, just remember that remember what I just said. Catch it and push pause. Just click that pause button visually. And whether that button is on your nose or on your forehead or just imaginary out in front of you anywhere, just push pause. And in that pause, the first thing you do is to take a deep, slow, conscious breath. Do it with me right now. And just one is enough to give value. It sends a signal to the heart and to your entire being and body to just relax for a moment, to just, okay, nothing I need to do for the next 10 seconds. Just pause. And then in that, you can take another 1 or 2 breaths or not, and then get straight back on to what is in front of you. And just that little moment, those 10, 15, or 30 seconds of stopping are not wasted because they're going to set you up with a clearer mind, more focus for what is next, what is in front of you, and you will be making less mistakes and you will be a little bit more effective because you're a little bit more focused. You're a little bit more clear-headed. And there's no limit. It's not like there's a limit to how many you can do of these a day, as many as you can remember to do. Another thing you can do when you have that pause is, again, first you recognize, okay, pause, just before you open your computer and start typing, or before you hop in the car, or before you pick up the phone, before you do that next task, just breath and just sinking in. A very simple thing you can do, because most of the time you will have one hand free. If not, create a free hand for a moment. And if you're watching now, you can do this with me, looking. If not, all you're doing is putting 2 fingers, doesn't matter what fingers, a thumb and another finger together, and then rubbing them very slowly, very gently. And you can move around to as many different parts of those 2 fingers you can rub together, the back of the fingers, the front of the fingers. And all you're doing is just paying attention to the feelings in your fingers. Very subtle. And as you're moving different parts of the fingers, it keeps changing. And if you do that for just half a minute, along with 1 or 2 deep breaths, that will completely shift your level of presentness, and you can be more present, which also happens to be what we do at Christmas. We give presents. So if we can give presents as a present to the people around us at Christmas, it's an incredible Christmas gift that you can give, and it's absolutely free, financially at least. So with that, I won't hold you up any longer for this episode. We'll make it a bit shorter and get you out there. Do what you need to do and pause as frequently as you can. It will serve you. So with that, I want to wish you a joyful, happy Christmas time and holiday time, depending on if you're here in the Southern Hemisphere. It is also summer holidays. If you're northern one, it's just Christmas holidays. So I wish you a wonderful Christmas time and a holiday time. And thank you for being here this year. And I hope to see you again in the new year in the next round of podcast episodes. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Mental Fitness, the Gateway to Success. If you have stories of how mental fitness has benefited you that you are happy to share, go to my website, mikal.nz, click on podcast and fill in the guest application form. If you want direct support from me utilizing my 40 years of mental fitness learning and practice, email me at coach@mikal.nz or message me on LinkedIn. Any feedback, review, share, follow, like, or any other good stuff is, of course, appreciated. Thank you for listening to Mental Fitness, the Gateway to Success podcast. I'm your host, Mikal Nielsen.